First on Sunday, sat down as a staff, really liked some of the things we saw on film. We named honorable mention offense to Dan Skipper, but our two MVPs in offense went to Alex and Jay Will. Obviously, Jay Will passing the $1,000-yard mark was pretty cool. Alex actually has gained 1,000, but he's lost a couple, so I think he's got 35 yards to get that title. It'd be pretty cool to have two in the same backfield. Defensively, honorable mention went to Rohan Gaines. Really neat to see him respond so positively after a little bit of adversity. I made an excellent play on the ball, made a big play to get it in the end zone. But our defensive MVPs went to our four seniors. We just thought they led the week all along. Trey Flowers, Martrell Spade, Tevin Mitchell, and Alan Turner, just what they're doing for us and the things off the field, on the field is just awesome to watch. Special teams, honorable mention, went to Alex Volsky. He's the only player on our roster that starts on all four phases of the kicking game, and plays prominent roles. He's my lead guy on punt, a very prominent role for me on my punt block return team, and then KOC, KOR, he's kind of the point guy in each one of those phases as well. So extremely appreciative of what Alex brings every week. Matt Emmerich, I thought, did a great job of getting a couple snaps down in adverse conditions. You know, everybody just assumes those things are going to happen. He did a really good job, but our special teams MVP was Sam Irwin-Hill. Just had a great day punting, down it inside the 5 on 2 occasions. Our offensive scout, Connor McPherson, and Jack Krause. Jack continues to just do very, very good things. He's changed his body since coming to us from Bentonville, and really, really looking good. Defensive scout Armand Watts, another kid from the redshirt freshman group, the development that he's gone through, put on about 30 pounds of defensive lineman. Really excited about where he's at. And then our special teams, Lucas Ryder, a walk-on from Texas, who's done a really nice job. So we put that to bed last night. We actually pushed back our whole schedule on Sunday, which was a little bit different for us. We pushed it all back, so we had the entire morning to get behind the Ole Miss game and move into the Missouri prep, do a lot of really good things that let us get a good jump on Missouri last night. We took them out on the field, did a extended walk, and then we never usually work on Mondays, but because Sunday or Saturday is going to be an off day for us, and because there is no school Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, the NCAA lets us practice today, so we'll go out there today. Tonight we'll have a good meeting session. A lot of our guys are in classes till 9 o'clock. 9:05 is when our last group gets done tonight, so we can't start meetings till 9:15. We'll get on the field about 10:15, 10:30, and go through about an hour and 15-minute practice out there today, which we never get to do on a Monday. So we'll kind of combine what we get done on a Monday, Tuesday, into a Wednesday into these 2 days, Monday and Tuesday, and then our Wednesday will be like a Thursday, which is like a Friday normally for our guys, and then obviously the game will be Thursday will be like a Friday, and Friday will be like a Saturday. So it'll all work out. Probably doesn't make sense to you, but it will to our guys. So with that, injury-wise, obviously everybody knows that BA and AJ left the game. Both those guys have a chance. Don't know how much or how little or really anything at this point. I know they're both going to commit to rehab as best as they possibly can, and we'll see where it goes. Dietrich Wise, I think, has a strong possibility of being back with us full go, if not today's practice, tomorrow. So we should have him rocking and rolling, feeling pretty good. Otherwise, we stayed pretty healthy. I really like the way our guys played, and winning heals a lot of guys, and I think that is happening with our team. I think they don't want to miss a snap of anything that we're getting done right now. So a tremendous opportunity to get Missouri, two teams that I think are playing very, very well, two teams that have a lot at stake. Obviously, Missouri has their own set in their agenda, but one of the things I've really tried to preach to our guys is that Arkansas, whenever we play, whoever we play, it's all about Arkansas. I don't care what the situation is. It focuses on us doing really good things. So I think our guys have bought into that, and we'll see where it goes. Does he have to practice? You certainly like him to throw the ball around, I think, especially as well as that's been going for him. But I do think, a guy that's a junior starter that started an entire year, if there's a guy that could get away with a minimal amount of practice time, would be BA.
What's your backup quarterback plan for Andy?
If BA can't go, well, it'd be Austin Allen. Our backup. Two things. Rafe Peavy obviously has been there the whole time, you know, and obviously with only a game and a bowl game to play, you don't want to do it, but if it's necessary, it's necessary, and I think he knows that. The flip side of it, A.J. Derby, if he's back, can obviously play for us at quarterback, and then, of course, there's a couple other guys on our roster that have played in that role in high school and dating back to when they were being recruited. They were some of our defensive guys that we'll experiment with as well. Doo-Wop be in the mix, possibly. You know, he was in the mix and then fell out of favor a couple weeks ago. Just got caught in a situation that I handled internally and wasn't anything more than just not being at the right spot at the right time for academics and being on time for a team function. So kind of removed him from the plan the last couple of weeks, but it'd be a great way to interact with him this week.
So Brandon has a hip pointer or a bruise?
You know, yeah, it's just soft tissue, way beyond what I can describe, but nothing broke, nothing, you know, but it's very sore, and as we all know, he's a very tough player, so we'll see where he goes.
But not likely to practice in the next couple of days?
Next couple of days, no, but I think the plan is hopefully get him out Tuesday, move him around a little bit, maybe Wednesday throw him around a little bit, and see if Thursday's practice, which will be like a Friday practice for us where we just basically go through the game plan, would be involved.
What's the difference between him and Austin, like just the way they play? Biggest difference?
Obviously, I don't have any children yet, so I can't speak to everybody, but as I've grown through life, I've just been amazed how many parents I know so well, and then they have so many children, or they have multiple children that are just completely different. And BA and Austin are no exception to that rule. They are completely alike in a lot of different ways, but they're completely different in so many others. I think BA is just by nature is a lot more wants to have all the reasons. He wants to have all the this happens to this happens to this is make this going to happen. Austin's just like, oh, cool, that happens, and this might happen. That's all right, you know. That's kind of it. And I'm not saying one way or the other works, but I will say this: I don't think anybody had any anxiety about Austin Allen walking in that huddle that was out there with him. I mean, he was a very calm, cool, collected, very confident, very assured. Even, you know, when there's maybe some bumps in the road, he handled everything marvelously and kind of fun to watch.
If he has to start, what do you ask for differently in starting a game as opposed to coming in with a lead?
You know, two things, Nate. I think he asked Austin to be the best him, no matter whatever that means, however we go about it. You know, you do certain things in your play calling, obviously, and make certain things aware. But, you know, Austin Allen has to be the best Austin Allen he can be. But all the other 10 other guys in that huddle or whoever has an effect on that huddle or on those calls has to be behind Austin and give him a lot of support and play their best football. And that's what happened on Saturday, and I think that's what I'd expect our team to do.
Brett, what's the structure like for Thursday? Will you guys get to be able to maybe eat 2 meals together, you know, go up head that way?
Yeah, quite simply, today and tomorrow are pretty much standard normal. We'll work out at the end of the day, which is unusual, but Tuesday we have classes here at the university, so it's standard normal Tuesday. We'll practice at our normal time Tuesday. We'll have a pretty intense practice on Tuesday, but then Wednesday they don't have classes, so we'll be able to do some things by NCAA rules that you normally can't do. So we have some extended meeting time on Wednesday. So even though it's an earlier week, it's really neat that we don't have school because it allows you to buy up some extra time that you normally wouldn't get. So Wednesday we'll practice a little earlier in the day. Should be done here about 2:30. We'll have a travel meeting at 2:30 with our 70-man travel roster. At that point, all of our other guys would be allowed to go home if they're going home. If not, we have a big turkey dinner. I think Herman's is bringing in a big Thanksgiving dinner similar to what we did last year, and kids are really looking forward to that. I think we're having a little movie voucher for them so they can go catch a movie on Wednesday night. Learn that from my old place I was at. The guys are excited about that. Then Thursday, let them sleep in a little bit. They'll get their tryptophan fix on Wednesday. We'll keep that out of their diet on Thursday just to focus more on what a Thursday will be more like our normal Fridays. We'll work out here. We'll go through our entire program that we do here. We'll travel over to Columbia, get in there around dinner time, do exactly what we do on a Friday as far as eat dinner, have our team meetings, go through our 3 keys to victory, have an offense-defensive breakdown, have some free time Thursday night, and then Friday morning get up and have a normal 4-hour meal. 4 hours before kickoff, we always have our pregame meal. So it's pretty standard.
Well, we not understood. We're practicing later tonight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, it's late for you and I, but when you're 18 and 22, they're just turning on their first round of Sports Center. It is late. You don't have to come. I open it up to all of you guys if you want to come. I'm just kidding. That's not true. But yeah, I admit, like when I did it before at my previous place, a lot of times during finals week, when you're into a bowl game, you have to practice at 10, 11 at night if that's the only time you can get it in. And it's just amazing when you're 18 to 20 years age now. I mean, that don't bother them at all. So yeah, they'll get out here. Now we'll feed them out the door. We'll give them a snack around 11:30 tonight, walking out, and then they will have their normal Tuesday schedule. But I think they know it's part of the process.
How do you create a rivalry? These teams have a bet since '63.
Yeah, battle line rivalry. Obviously, something that the conference made a decision to switch to, and I know everybody with the LSU game where it used to be. Since it was my first SEC win, I'm very thankful we moved it forward. But that in itself has built up a nice little tradition in history. Now to have an SEC East team, a team like Missouri, Coach Pinkel's done a tremendous job, one of the longest tenured coaches in the SEC. I think it's a neat thing. We got two kids out of St. Louis, to kind of just continue to build that rivalry. It'll take a little bit of time, but that's what you have. And I know our guys are very excited to see a team that last year played in the SEC championship game, and now this year get a chance to go back to it, or we can stop it.
Now you've had a couple of days to digest the film. Is there anything different you saw out of Austin after you viewed the film than maybe you did?
I wouldn't say necessarily anything on film. He looked fine. I mean, or even on the field. He handled a composure. He put us in some calls. We do a little thing called milking the clock at the end. Where we just kind of milk everything down. If you see me on the sideline, I'm just don't milk the clock. And it's easier said than done because we want him to break the huddle at 15. We want him to start the motion at 8. And we want to snap the ball under 4. And it's easier said than done. He really did a nice job. I thought he was getting a little too close for my comfort. But, even with that fumble, he just kind of took his medicine and proceeded to go out there and do it all over again. So I wasn't surprised because Austin is he's such a neat kid. He's very, from the first day I met him on the first time he came in my office when he was a senior in high school to kind of just building a relationship with him kind of through social media at that time where you could message and I could talk to him limited, and he started showing up, and then you automatically just thought he was going to be just like BA, and he's completely different. His father and I joke all the time just because he is a little bit different type of personality than his brother. So I was happy for him, happy for our team.
Turnover margin, you guys were way down in the hundreds last year. Now you're up in the top 40. What's going to do that?
Well, I think a point of emphasis first and foremost. We've always emphasized it, but it's kind of like maybe there's this term that we use all the time. You got to block out the noise, and what I mean by that is everybody's going to blare things at you, say certain things, but some of it's just noise. It's not sinking into you. But be specific. So I thought defensively we have a turnover circuit and a turnover theory that I've never seen before. Rob brought it as far as same hand, same arm with a quarterback throwing it, ball disruption when we go to make a attack, a interception or a pick. The way that a second man comes to the football and attacks it is very, very unique. And then I think Jim Chaney, the greatest thing he's done every week, he gets up in front of the team and he gives 3 keys to victory for an offensive game plan. And he usually has a very creative way of expressing the numbers. The numbers don't lie. And I believe up to 2 weeks ago, if you're an SEC team and you turn the ball over 0 times in a game, you're at an 87% winning percentage. And I think he said Friday night to our guys, which I thought was really cool, he said, if I could give you something tonight that guarantees you a 90% success rate tomorrow, would you take it? And all the kids are like looking around. They thought they're going to get this magic pill or something, or that's the easy way. But what Jim was trying, he's like, I am sharing this with you. If you do not turn the ball over tomorrow, you have a 90% chance of winning the football game. Why not take that? And I thought it was a great way of a coach putting an illustration to our players that meant a lot. Well, he's done a lot of things I've never seen before. Some we can talk about, some we can't. Yeah, he's got a tackle progression that they actually developed when LeGrand was injured at Rutgers, and they had a bunch of things to work through there. You have a kid that gets paralyzed, and the first time he gave it to me, he got very emotional because it meant a lot to him. Him and Greg and the defense staff put together a tackle progression that lets a kid learn how to tackle effectively without lowering his head. And I think I loved it so much. I had him explain it to our offense, our offensive staff. I think they were kind of blown away by it because it's very detailed, very precise, and very accurate. And it's something that our kids recite every day at the beginning of meetings, and it's just a lot of it goes into it, and the results are what you see.
Is that like the rugby style tackling or something?
No, I don't know rugby, but it's really basically it starts. You never trade down. What by that means he's going to teach you a certain technique, and if you can accomplish that, then you do that. If you can't, you go to the next best option, which is pressing the hip, which is a wrap and roll. And if you can't wrap and roll, then you're going to click the heel. And it's just it takes you through everything from Bob was coming right at me, and you got very few tackles in today's world are like this. Very few are straight up. Martrell Spate made a tackle against I can't remember if it was this week or last week. Must have been last week, where the quarterback came up the middle and he was kind of flush, and he made just a routine tackle. You never see that tackle anymore. But he executed it perfectly. But then if you can't tackle him up, then you're going to pick a side. So you're going to take a half-man tackle and force him back to your buddy. And if you can't get that, then you're going to wrap and roll, which means you're just going to grab onto whatever you can. You're going to wrap and you're going to roll it. And if you can't get that, you're going to be trail position. You're going to click the heel. But you're not going to click the heel. You're going to click the heel and flop on your back because it prevents you from breaking your shoulder. So the detail of it is miraculous. The results are obviously awesome.
How's the recruiting response been?
Recruiting response? I think our coaches are doing a lot of really good things on the field. E.K. Franks, Daniel Bush, a guy that I hired from Alabama. E.K. came from the coaching ranks. Have just been off the charts. We've done so many things differently this year, connecting with social media to the detail of kids on their official visits to who's their favorite artist, what's their favorite food, what's their and just there's so many things you can get creatively with. And then when kids are here on official visits, the element that we can't put in front of them right now is an SEC championship trophy. There's 4 of them in the lobby, but they've all been runner-ups. So we can't talk about that. But what we can talk about is, here's the church, here's the steeple, open the doors, and here's all the people. The people make a difference, And if I get a young man in my office and he's going to be with me for 30 minutes, and he's got another 30 minutes with a head coach, I want him to be aware that the 30 minutes he just spent with me, he's going to carry forward forever. And whether I get him or not, I want to make a difference in our short time together, because I think that happens a lot in today's world, that face-to-face time is real.
We used to have in multiple 1,000-yard rushers. What kind of accomplishments do you think would be in this conference?
Well, this year we're going to go 2, but my goal was 3. I was 3 yards short of it a year that we won a Big Ten title. We had 3 guys that had 2 of them went over 1,000. One was at 997. So I think that 2 is good, but 3 to be better, because you can win a lot of games. But I think in this conference to have 2 over 1,000, especially where we're at in our program right now, says a lot, not about them, but about everybody around them. Wide receivers, we give out helmet decals and our helmet stickers. And last night, when we awarded Jay Will and Alex, I also awarded every offensive lineman, tight end, and wide receiver and quarterback that was a part of that 1,000-yard rusher, because that's a milestone. So I want our kids to know, and I think Alex and Jay Will, who are playing really good, that was the best that our 2 running backs have ever played. Even though it's only 80 yards or whatever each, the detail of everything that they're doing to protect our quarterback, to allow routes to happen, to picking up pressures, to chipping blockers, to Alex Collins volunteering once Corliss was gone to come and say, hey, I want to be a kick returner. It's just the sponge that those 2 are right now are pretty cool.
When you have a play like a 100-yard interception return, do you watch it all as a team in some type of study and break it down, break it off here, and kind of go through?
Tom, not as a team, because the emphasis, if that was a 2nd game, 3rd game of the season, I probably would. I made reference to it. We gave Rohan a recognition in front of the whole team and talked about the convoy that happened. But we really, truly did want to, all of our guys, including our players, just wanted to do the respect that we needed to do to Ole Miss, but put it to bed. We wanted to jump into Missouri. So if I could shave 10 minutes off of my meeting with the whole team by not showing a lot of plays, that's what we did. It's how we turn the page, it's how we move on to Missouri.
Talking about Corliss Marshall, what's the
Not much update. You know, when I met with him last week to share with him where we were at and where we were going, it was a very short, brief meeting. I was hot. I was pissed. So I said, hey, I'll talk to you on Sunday, because I didn't want him to know you're not going to be a distraction for this football team. And then I wanted to have him have a few days to digest. I brought him in on Sunday, talked to his mom. We're going over the options that are in front of him. You know, the good Lord gave him some things that he needs to take advantage of to get a degree and to have a success in life. So I'm going to do everything I can to, you know, make that situation be as real and as good as it possibly can.
I think you said after the Georgia game, or at some point when he got suspended, it would be one of the saddest stories you've ever been around if it didn't work out. It's not going to work.
Yeah, that's why I get mad. I mean, I just everybody loves success. Everybody loves to watch success, but the ones that stay in the back of my mind always are the ones that didn't work out. You know, the ones that don't get worked out, they get one-page headlines, but they don't get, you know, 4 years of a career of headlines. They usually are a flash for a very brief moment in time. So this will be a great learning experience for me. I've never been through this personally with the exact same scenario and the exact same situation, but my guess as a head coach that's in this environment in the SEC and in this type of geography and stuff, all that goes into it, I need to learn a little bit better what I can do to maybe help that situation. But on the bottom line, you know, until someone really wants to help themselves, you don't have a lot of options. So I think Corliss is at that little junction right now.
As you mentioned last week, winning brings with it more maybe distractions, is not the right word for you.
Yeah.
Does winning two bring even more?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, had a lot of requests for national media, and you know, and I knew success. You know, I've been a defense coordinator in the past that had success, and when that happens, you get opportunities to be nationally recognized. You know, so I think on Sunday, you know, Rob had USA Today and maybe ESPN.com and some other things, and I said I'm fine with Rob doing it, but it's only if Rob wants to do it, because I know how he is. Rob's a very wired individual, so he was already on the Missouri game plan. But on the same account, you know, Rob's a guy that's got dreams and aspirations, so you got to give credit when credit is due. Our players, I can't announce them now, but there's been several players just in the last 24 hours that we have known are going to get nominated and put on certain watch lists and awards lists, and that's great for them. I'm not going to try to minimize that, but on the same account, I think our players are so ingrained that they got one of my biggest points on Sunday was Saturday happened by what we did on Saturday execution-wise, but majority of why Saturday happened was because of what we did on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It's not just coach speak. It's complete and utter truth is if you have a guy that is playing well, and there's a reason at the beginning of the meeting when we go through class misses or academic issues or being late for this or being late for that, all the guys that are playing great for us aren't on any of those lists. It's guys that are reserves or red shirts that haven't learned how we do things yet. And so I just asked our guys, watch your seniors this week. Watch them handle the details. Watch Martrell Spate. He's an All-American. Martrell Spate is an All-American. Now, whether he's going to get listed that way or not, I've had All-American players. He's a first-team All-American without a doubt, and it's because of the way he's doing everything. And every linebacker in that room should pay attention. Trey Flowers is an All-American. It's just watch those guys. Alan Turner and Tevin Mitchell. A lot of times DBs need to have sophomore and junior years to get that type of recognition. But as far as the way they're preparing and playing, nobody's playing any better. So that's the stuff I asked our guys to watch.
Can you go back to just your coaching style and making sure that everybody held on tight to the rope when you guys were losing those games, and your style and how rewarding it is now?
Again, I appreciate it. It's not my style; it's Arkansas style. I think a lot of people when I came here believed that I was going to take this cookie cutter approach, treat everybody like little sugar cookies, and all the little things that we do. And I didn't take that approach. I knew that I was going to have to adjust, come into a different league. I carried forward a lot of the principles I believed in, but the formula, the development, the same strength program. Ben Herbert, I mean, for what he brought to us has been huge. The part I wasn't going to flinch on is, are we going to be a pro style or a spread? Are we going to play a 3-4 or a 4-3? Are we going to, be a gambling type special teams unit, or are we going to be a moderate to, fair risk taker. So that I've never wavered on. My old place, my AD wrote a book called Don't Flinch, and I used to give him heat all the time because I use that phrase all the time, because a lot of people in life flinch. You get, when people flinch, you know you got them. I used to love talking to coaches or something, and you could tell they're kind of flinching in pregame warm-ups, and you know you got them. Or if you get a player, we always say we can make them flinch on the field, or you can get them to react to something that's not real. We always used to tell quarterbacks they're bleeding, so they look to see what they're bleeding. We're like, you're bleeding inside, and that gets them to flinch a little bit, and that stuff makes a lot of difference.
Brett, you said a few weeks ago that when you won a game, it was going to be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Now you won 2, and can you picture Thanksgiving Day around the state, people sitting around the table, and they're happier now because of what's going on?
Yeah, I had, when I was saying that, Tom, I was probably referencing a little bit more with the world that I was in. I had no idea that it would. I can't describe how many emails, letters, direct messages, indirect messages, outpouring of what we've done for certain people. It's just, I feel bad because I can't answer every letter, and I'll do it, as I can as I get free time. But it's very, very evident to me that we're having a really nice effect on a lot of people, a lot of nice people, a lot of people that maybe haven't exactly had all the greatest couple years in a row. It's just awesome. It's really been cool. My parents have been here for like the last 6 weeks, and they've been out in the community, and my dad's been out playing golf with people in the regular community, and I think he probably takes about 30 seconds before he tells them his name, but I think he's really enjoyed, my mom and dad have really enjoyed what we've built here. It's not just the wins, it's about how we've done it. So my mother-in-law was here, and she was with us a little bit after the game. I stopped into Herman's. We were having recruits in there, so I stopped in there, and you just all of a sudden they start calling the Hogs, and it goes crazy, and it's fun, but it's it's kind of nuts for Jen and I, but it's cool to see that much warm and good feelings for everybody.
Right, I guess you guys are right on the edge of the 8 people.
Yeah.
First team not to make up. But just getting, you got 5 losses, get that kind of recognition from national people. What that means.
Someone brought that to my attention today. I obviously don't vote on the AP. Maybe you do, or whoever does. But really, all right, check his ballot. The part that I figured, last week we started to get talked about a little bit, and then, it was just amazing from Saturday on. I get in the car and I'm listening to Sirius XM radio. I think I've said that before, and then ESPN that night or SEC Network or whatever it was. We're just getting talked about. So I didn't know how it would go, with a 6-5 team, but we have ranked, beat 2. We did something that's never been done in college football, to shut out 2 ranked teams as an unranked team back-to-back weeks. I mean, that don't just happen, and I think people recognize that. So as far as playing good football, I think we're playing as good as anybody. I really do. Now, what we do on Saturday or on Friday is totally in our hands, but I'd be very surprised if we didn't go over there and play very, very well and give everybody something to think about.
Pretty sure you're going to be the first team in school history to play all your conference games against ranked opponents, and I don't know if anybody else has ever done that in college football. Just the season in general and the conference you talked about.
Yeah, I think Athletic Communications sent me the one when we were going to play 5 straight teams ranked in the top 10. I'm like, that's awesome, great. I think our bye week was ranked number 7. I think the neat thing about it, this is exactly why I came here. I didn't know it was going to be this way. Even like the last couple coins, I really, Hugh and I really like Coach Freeze and what he brings. I like Dan, and before that, not that I didn't like those other guys. Nick's not the most talkative guy at midfield, but it's just kind of some of these coaches that I've been in this with now a little bit. They're like, can you believe this? It's just one of those badges of courage, badge of honor that is really, really fun, and the product is you get recognition, but you're doing it in a league that is second to none. I mean, that was the part. Nothing against anything that we've done before I came here, anything like that, but it just wasn't the same. It wasn't the same notoriety. It wasn't the same type of ranking, and I'm not doing it I'm just doing it because it's fun to say you did it. I don't think anybody picks out the weakest guy in the room to pick on him, and usually you go after the stud, and that's fun.
What are some things that you see in Missouri, some of the strengths that you're going to have to
Great question. To end with on Missouri, I think offensively, their quarterback is just fun to watch. He's a winner, makes a lot of plays with his legs that extends plays. Their wide receivers are very opportunistic. They have a running back / special teams returner guy, number 6, that is as dangerous as we've faced. He's incredible. Defensively, I love their defensive ends. Dave Steckel and I their D coordinator and I have been friends for 15, 20 years. I just admire and respect what he does, and so defensively, I think they remind me a little bit of the last couple of weeks of Mississippi State and Ole Miss. They're very, very fast. They're very athletic, very aggressive in their demeanor and their attitude. So, in special teams, because of that return man, they're very dangerous. So it's a tremendous task, but a tremendous opportunity for our guys as well.